Welcome to the GodShow.us Daily, the only philosophy arena where your existential spiral gets a full bracket, a foam finger, and absolutely no instant replay.
This podcast comes from thegodshow.us, a free daily multilingual project where one user's question gets run through 15 wisdom traditions. You can find the question of the day, ask your own questions, and discover your belief profile at thegodshow.us. Today's question: when I realize I have been more devoted to being remembered than to being present, what have I actually been living for? Which is also, have I been treating my actual life as raw material for my own future eulogy? Or have I been so busy composing the caption that I missed the sunlight it was supposed to describe? The traditions heard that. They had a lot to say. So across 15 traditions, something kept coming back. Not judgment. More like a gentle, devastating inventory. Islam says you've been living for the gaze of creatures. And creatures close their eyes. That's the whole move. You spent the hour arranging how you'd appear in someone's memory long after you left the room. And the only witness who never sleeps, never forgets, never dies. You were absent from that one. The Stoics call the thing you were chasing doxa, opinion. The imagined applause of people not yet in the room, and they don't call it small or secondary, they call it nothing. Not nothing as in a little. Nothing as in nothing.
I want to push on that, though, because Judaism actually defends the person asking. It says the terror of disappearing is not vanity. It's the oldest human prayer. The Torah knows this. So we're not talking about someone who is shallow. We're talking about someone who is scared. And scared is different. The indictment isn't that you wanted to matter. It's that the people at your table weren't waiting for your legacy. They were waiting for your eyes to meet theirs. And you were somewhere else.
That image does something to me. The bread is warm. The candle has maybe an hour left. And Yom Kippur doesn't ask why you failed, and it just asks, were you there? Buddhism makes the same move from a completely different angle. It says the self that kept waiting to be confirmed by some future witness, that self never actually arrived. But notice who just saw through the whole arrangement. That one needed no stage, no record, no arriving. The seeing was already complete, which is either very reassuring or the most annoying thing you've ever heard at 4 a.m.
Vedanta goes even further. It says the one who fears being forgotten is itself a construction. Constructions cannot be remembered, only repeated. The noticer at 3 a.m., the one watching the fear, no biography, never born into the story that could lose you. That's the witness consciousness move. I find it genuinely clarifying, but I also think if you hand that to someone in acute grief about their own irrelevance, they will put it down, which is where Sufism becomes more useful. And Hafiz says the tragedy isn't vanity, and it's a specific loneliness. The person applauded by everyone who never let anyone actually touch them.
The pop culture oracle went with Bob Dylan, 1975, like a rolling stone. You're invisible now. You got no secrets to conceal. And it correctly points out that Dylan is not congratulating you. He's reading your obituary while you're still eating breakfast. Cynicism and absurdism are the ones without any cushion. Cynicism says, you have been starving at a feast, curating the memory of your own hunger so that someone later would call it beautiful. Absurdism says the room you've been living for, the one where people finally speak your name and you're safe from feeling anything. You will never enter it. The sun on your actual arm this Tuesday meant nothing. The imagined eulogy meant everything, and it calls that the oldest human arithmetic. Trade the unbearable weight of now for a weightless future where you cost nothing and risk nothing. What these traditions leave us with in different languages is roughly this. The witness you've been performing for was always a ghost. Tomorrow we get a new question. Bring the part of you that already knows the answer and won't admit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the philosophical coliseum has gone quiet. The figs have gone soft. And somewhere a glass of wine is sweating on a table, while its owner composes a very good sentence about himself. If this episode hits somewhere specific, subscribe to thegodshow.us. It is free. It is daily. It runs in multiple languages. And it will keep asking the questions you are hoping no one would think to ask. Support the show at thegodshow.us. And tell exactly one person who is currently mid-caption. TheGodShow.us would like to thank our sponsor, Typeset.us. When generic web typography is letting you down, refine your work for free using Typeset.us. And thanks to DishYorkMusic.com for our dark rock intro tune. See you tomorrow for our take on The God Show's question of the day.